Blue skies means fun days. Helping skydivers with tips and techniques about safety, training and fun jumping from those who know. Hello and welcome to this episode of Blue Skies Fun Days. A few years back, the Australian Parachute Federation changed its regulations to allow for a 12-month repack cycle on sport reserve parachute assemblies. While there are sound arguments for the longer repack cycle, it also means that the level of responsibility for the owner or user has also greatly increased. As a sport jumper, you need to realise that a 12-month repack cycle means that a third party will only be looking at your rig once a year. With complacency now being a bigger enemy than ever, you need to get to know your system and keep a close eye on it. And if you have any reservations at all, talk to your rigger. Watch out for others as well. Along with your increased responsibility for yourself, also keep an eye on the rigs belonging to other people. They may have things that you've missed or that they've missed. Whether on the ground or in the plane, it's both good for your awareness and the safety of others if you are constantly looking at whether or not a rig appears to be in sound working order. Talking about monthly maintenance, regular checking and cleaning of the cutaway handle and massaging of the lower parts of the risers is now very much the responsibility of the user. I recently inspected a number of rigs that did not want a release when the cutaway handle was pulled. These had not been cleaned in the previous 6 months or a couple of years by the looks of it, at least since their last inspection, and mud and moisture had made the webbing very hard. This could be enough to delay the separation of the main and possibly end up with a main reserve entanglement. If unsure, refer to the system's user manual. Also have a look at our episode on monthly maintenance. Let's now look at the BOC. Part of the container inspection process is to look closely at the wear and tightness of the bottom of container pouch, otherwise known as the BOC. This is to make sure it's not worn or weak, which could allow the main pilot chute to escape prematurely. This could potentially prove fatal, especially if the rig is being used for free flying. The BOC should neatly contain the pilot chute and not have any holes in it that would either allow part of the pilot chute to escape or the BOC to catch on some part of the aircraft. Let's now turn our attention to the main pilot chute. Pilot chutes generally only maintain their high level of efficiency for about 300 jumps. If you are noticing slow lift-offs from your container, or that the fabric is threadbare, or it is developing a few holes, it's probably time to trade it in on a new one. If in doubt, talk to your rigger. Let's turn our attention now to webbing wear. Sliding in on landing can be very hard on leg straps, and swooping can damage leg pads and the webbing underneath. Unless you check your harness regularly, worn or damaged webbing will only be looked for at the annual repack. Generally, hardware has buffer webbing. This is type 12 with the red line down each edge. This is to protect the webbing from hardware abrasion and impact. Get to know your own rig and look at every piece of hardware and any associated webbing. If there is any damage to the buffer or harness webbing, refer it to a rigger for inspection before the next jump. Let's now discuss jump numbers. A critical factor in maintaining gear is how often the rig is used. The more jumps you are making on your gear, the closer you need to inspect it. Let's say 50 to 150 jumps a year. As a sport jumper, you should be keeping a close eye on your gear and looking for signs of wear and tear. Remember that main steering lines generally need replacing round about every 250 jumps, and similar with your pilot chute and BOC. Wear on the main closing loop means you will need to change it at some stage during the year. Doing more than a few hundred jumps a year, you're probably defined as a fairly keen jumper. Have a close look at all the things that we've mentioned and consider renewing the reserve closing loop after 6 months. Pin closing flaps can wear down the loop and they can fail, especially when you load up the flaps during the exit climb out. In summary, as sport jumpers, we all have a responsibility to maintain our gear, not only for our own safety, but also the safety of others. A premature opening because of a poorly maintained closing loop or a damaged BOC can have serious or fatal consequences for those in the sky with us. So take the time to check your gear on a regular basis. See you next time on Blue Skies Fun Days. Just a quick note to our skydiving family. Blue Skies Fun Days is here to help our family grow, have fun in the sky, and to do it safely. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and tell your friends about the lessons we have on offer to help everyone become better skydivers. For more tips and techniques, click subscribe.